What is going on, everyone? The market was pretty slow and choppy today, but we have one more day left for the trading week, so let's make it count. In today's video, we're going to talk about some of the best setups for tomorrow, some very interesting news with Amazon, and some other important things to know for tomorrow. We also have a great big money trade towards the end of today's video, so make sure to stick around for that. But with that being said, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, like you said, Mike, that market was overly choppy today. If we look at the SPY from open to close, there were some opportunities both to the downside and the upside. But to be honest with you, I didn't really like them too much because we didn't really get a key breakdown under support, only momentarily down to around 448, which was next support anyway. So it only ran down around 80 cents and then chopped right back up all throughout the day. And I have multiple levels on my chart right now. These are the kind of the midpoints that I'm watching here. So I'm watching 450.50 as big resistance up here, up to 450.70. You can see a lot of hits. And I'm also watching that support around 448.80 and then 448. So I'll be watching for the market to break down under that tomorrow. And I'll be honest, Mike, it came back pretty good end of day. We got to watch that resistance coming up around 451.30. The market's in a point right now where it's just stuck. The bulls aren't winning, the bears aren't winning, and once we break out of this range, we might go on another run. But in my opinion, I think we'll probably start falling down. But I don't know, Mike. This run has been unstoppable the past couple weeks.
Yeah, and lately it's been a giant chop fest. You know, the bulls have been in control big time over the past 2 weeks, but you can only run to the upside so much so quickly. So either way, I think we are set for some good opportunities tomorrow once we see a breakout. We're going to talk more about those in just a couple minutes. But Tom, I'll tell you, I saw some pretty exciting news with Amazon today of all companies, and they're basically going to start selling cars on Amazon. This is pretty crazy in my opinion. I never thought that people would be able to buy brand new cars with Amazon, but it looks like that's going to become a reality as soon as next year.
Yeah, it is, and I love seeing this, Mike. I mean, Amazon just keeps innovating, and they keep going deeper and deeper into becoming that one app for everything, right? I know X talks about that. You know, Elon said he wants to become the app for everything. I'll be honest. Amazon, you can get groceries, you can get toys, you can get items for cooking, you can get anything really on Amazon now, and now you can get cars again, and they're starting out with Hyundai, which is very interesting to me. They have an enhanced showroom, and it looks like there's a few other brands that will kind of get into this as well, but whenever I go to that Hyundai showroom, Mike, I mean, this thing is awesome. You can see all of these cars here. You can click on whichever one you want. Like, for example, I think this Ioniq 6 looks pretty nice, so you can click on it, you can drag it around, see what it looks like, you can change the trims, the colors, everything like that in these enhanced showrooms. So once more brands get into this, it'll be even bigger, but I don't know, Mike, if I was going to buy a car, this seems like a pretty cool way to do it.
I wonder if Prime members get a discount.
I hope so.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And basically the way it'll work is you'll buy the brand new car through Amazon, and then you'll either get it delivered to you or you'll pick it up at your local dealership. But either way, the fulfillment will go through the dealership. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. And looking at Amazon stock, you know, it's been running pretty good. And overall, you know, it's at a decent level, and it sure is a powerhouse. So I think it's going to be worth watching pretty closely over the next year, especially because the car market, as we all know, is a pretty big market.
Yeah, and looking at Amazon for tomorrow, they had a lot of resistance today, like right around this 143.50, 144 area. So if they're able to maybe break back above that tomorrow, that could be a good area to watch. But keep in mind that this will probably be like for the next year or so, like Mike said. Obviously, they're not really starting this quite yet, but whenever they start to really integrate it next year, I think that's when we'll see them, you know, maybe benefit a little bit more from this. But obviously, though, Mike, Amazon's one of the better stocks to trade out there. People talk about it all the time, and they have some really good options as well.
You already know, and Amazon is also one of the big seven, one of the magnificent seven tech stocks in the market. Basically, as we all know, the stock market is not an equal place. And as we can see by looking at the chart on the left, the top 7 stocks in the S&P 500 make up 29% of the market. This is the highest percentage that the top 7 stocks in the S&P 500 has had for the market for well past 1980. And, you know, just a couple years, I guess you could say almost 10 years ago at this point, in like 2013 to 2014, the top 7 stocks only had like a 14 to 15% influence. And now it's all the way up to 29%. And then shifting over the chart to the right, we could see that the S&P 500 is up around 19% in 2023. And if we took out the top 7 stocks, the market would only be up 6%. And when you just look at the top 7 stocks, the market, or they would be up 71%. So it really goes to show you how much of a winner takes all situation the market has been lately.
Man, I'm surprised there's no ETF called like the Magnificent Seven or something like that. You know, that would actually be a pretty cool one. But if there is one out there, let me know in the comments if you guys find one. That'll be interesting to see. But looking at the 493 companies, Mike, being at only 6%, you know, this looks pretty small right here, right? Like people might say like, well, that actually looks pretty close. But let's actually go to a chart of the SPY and let's actually draw it out like from the lows of this year, which is right around, you would say like 380, 381. So if you draw this up here to where we're at now, we're at that like 19% mark, like they said. But let's go down to 6%. Where would we be there? Somewhere right around like 405. So I'm sitting here, Mike. Imagine if the SPY was at 405 right now. I bet a lot of people would be pretty bearish and that fear would be popping off like crazy.
Exactly. Like, imagine that. Imagine if the top 7 stocks, you know, weren't like the way they are. You know, SPY would be at 405 right now, and now it's at 450. So it really just goes to show you that the big tech stocks really have a huge influence. And when we say the big 7 stocks, we're looking at Meta, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, and NVIDIA. And Tom, for future reference, I did find a Magnificent 7 ETF. It's MAGS, and it looks like it just started, like really just a couple months ago.
Wow, that's actually awesome here. And look at how good it's done. You know, it's not like it's up like 80% or anything, but hey, you know, what a good start to this ETF's lifespan. I will say though, Mike, I feel a little bit bad. This ETF came in right as all these stocks were exploding. I mean, it might not be a good start to their lifespan. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they're a little bit late. Like they just made the ETF now and watched there be like a record pullback in the Magnificent 7 stocks. Oh my gosh. That's how these ETFs work though. Like you have something that becomes popular and then they make an ETF about it and then it's like all of a sudden not popular anymore and they transition onto something else.
Oh man, I had to pull up ARKK whenever you brought that up, Mike, or like ARKG. Remember the genomics ETF? Oh my gosh. I mean, I thought genomics was going to be the next big thing whenever Kathy was talking about it.
Alrighty. So yeah, those are the big things for today. For tomorrow, we don't really have too many exciting earnings or things on the schedule, but how about we run through them really quickly?
Yeah, so BJ's reports tomorrow, Spectrum Brands. I mean, really nothing. You know, BJ's is kind of like a retailer, so if you want to check those out, you can. If we go over to the economic calendar, there is some stuff here. So building permits, housing starts, and then there are some Fed speakers coming up. So be ready for that. I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy though, Mike. And I'm happy with that because the SPY's kind of been range bound the past couple days. And I'm kind of glad that there's no big events here. Hopefully the price action can just play out on its own without us having to worry about like, you know, Biden meeting with President Xi or anything like that.
Good stuff. Well, with that being said, let's get right into the exciting things for tomorrow, which are some setups. So a stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is SLV. This is essentially follows silver prices, and SLV had a pretty good day today. And I think it has a lot of potential going forward over the next couple weeks and months. This is not a type of stock that will be up, you know, 15% in one day off of some crazy news. Gold and silver tend to move in slower ways on a day-to-day basis, but over the course of like weeks, they have some really strong uptrends. So I am looking at SLV to the upside. I think the risk reward right now is very good. and I'm pretty bullish on it over the next couple of weeks. It's been making higher lows as well. Inflation's been cooling down, and there's been no shortage of fear in the world over the past couple of years, but even especially over the past couple of weeks. So I'll be watching it very closely.
Yeah, it's crazy, Mike. Like, the fear is coming in. We're seeing silver run up, and we're seeing the market run up too. It's pretty awesome to see. So I'll keep silver in mind for tomorrow as well. My first play, I'm actually watching Apple. I kind of like the way that they closed today, and they keep having these nice stair-step like runs to the upside, and today's close was actually very similar to what we saw on Tuesday, and then they ended up running above that double top above 188 and breaking out on Wednesday. So I'll be watching Apple to the upside again tomorrow. It's hard to fight this uptrend. Now, obviously, if it falls down in the morning and we start to see a lot of negative selling pressure, I will switch over to the QQQ and the SPY, and I'll look for those supports to break, and then I'll look at some puts to the downside. But, it seems like a lot of these stocks, even the SPY and QQQ, closed pretty well today. So I'll be watching it for a possible continuation tomorrow. Like I said, though, it's very important to be adaptable when the market is at these levels, because it could come crashing down any day, and I'm really keeping that in the back of my mind, waiting for that.
All right, good stuff. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is Meta, and it is actually to the downside. So Meta is very close to its recent highs right now, and I just think it's up a little bit too much in the short term. It showed some decent weakness today at open, but it had a phenomenal recovery once the market actually opened. But I do think we will see a retest of today's low around like 327. It might not happen tomorrow, but I think the risk reward playing this one to the downside is pretty good. And the main thing is if the market is also falling, that's what would make this setup even better. If we open up tomorrow and the market is just blasting to the upside, then, it won't be worth shorting Meta. But if the market's just weak or chopping around, I think that's where the opportunity will ultimately be.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's a good possibility the market could chop around again. I mean, it's already been doing it in this range for 2 days, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did it for a third. With my next play, I'm going with Netflix. And again, this one's to the upside. It just keeps going. I don't know what's up with this on the daily charts here, but Netflix is running up towards a recent resistance. So if they're able to get up to like that 480 area over the next couple weeks, then I'll start to look for it to slow down. But this uptrend has been awesome, and it just keeps going and going. So I will watch this one for another breakout tomorrow. Again, though, always keep that possibility of the market coming back in your mind. I'll be honest, I've been really waiting on SQQQ. I've been waiting to fire off on this one. It's just, waiting for that pullback to get a solid starting.
No doubt. And another thing I want to talk about really quickly, I know it's a little bit out of our normal routine, but looking at the market right now, clearly it has been extremely choppy, and it is hard to trade in these market environments. So if like the past 2 days have been a little bit rough, understand that these types of chop fests are like very hard to trade, and if you can survive these types of market environments, then you could survive almost anything, because it's super easy to make money when the market's going up. It's also decently easy to make money when the market's falling, depending on how it's falling. But when it's just chopping around and doing nothing, that's where a lot of the mistakes come into play.
Yeah, and we saw this happen actually a few weeks ago as well. The SPY was chopping for almost 2 weeks straight here, and that was a hard couple weeks to trade. And same thing with the past couple days. I 100% agree, Mike, and I'm hoping that we can get out of this range here at some point, right? I'm tired of the chop. I need my credit card chopped in half, as they'd say on the Wolf of Wall Street.
Alrighty, well, with that being said, let's get right into today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Tesla to the downside.
TSLA, that was a bad move today by Tesla, and I was actually looking at this one down yesterday, and we'll watch it down tomorrow too. If they get under 230, then eye up those puts.
All right, with the next one, we have GLD to the upside.
Gold, yeah, nice run again by them today. If they break above intraday resistance around 184.10, then look at calls.
All right, and now with the last one, we have Coinbase for both directions.
Coin, yeah, nice stock. It'll follow the cryptos. If it gets above this double top intraday today, pretty close to 98.10, then I'll look at some calls of the upside. That's right around resistance. If they end up falling under 94 even, then I'm going to look at puts.
All right, so we have the downside level for puts. We have the upside level for calls. That's for Coinbase, and it's only a play if it breaks those levels. Don't forget about GLD with the upside level as well. And then, of course, you can't forget about Tesla with the downside level there. But if you've been looking at the market lately and you are looking for some pretty solid opportunities, definitely check out the first link in the description in the comments down below. We have the Stocked Up trading floor, which basically has every single tool, resource, and everything you could possibly need for short-term trading. Today's hybrid bot play with Tesla was phenomenal. The hybrid bot called out Tesla put options at $480 each. By the end of the day, they were trading for $940 each. This all happened within the same day, and there are options alerts from our bots basically every single day. Additionally, you could chat with Tom and myself all day long. We do live events, live Q&As on Wednesdays, and we have all the replays of those as well. You can get access to the big money trades before the market closes. We have swing trades, theta trades, and like I said, literally everything you could possibly need for short-term trading. So if you want in on the Stocked Up trading floor, the link will be the first link in the description and the comments down below. But with that being said, Tom, let's get right into today's big money trade of the day. And we are looking at ticker symbol SSRM. So today we had a $640,000 trade with SSRM. This trade was specifically with the 13 strike call options that expire on March 15th of 2024. So this company does a lot with precious metals mining, and as we talked about earlier in the video with SLV, when we see the prices of precious metals rise, it sure helps the companies that actually mine those metals. So I think this is a pretty interesting trade. It definitely has potential. The options have time, which is good. The options are a little bit far out of the money with the 13 strike, but nothing like too worrying. But overall, I think it's a trade worth watching, and I'm definitely pretty bullish on SLV going forward. And if silver prices rise, it can definitely help this company out.
So does SSRM, do they generally deal with silver? Is that like their main, I would say like their main metal here?
So they do a lot with gold, silver, copper, lead, zinc, a bunch of metals like that. But yeah.
I can't believe that they're down so much given, how well I would guess, that the metals have been doing lately. I just can't believe that they're down so much. But it's very interesting that they're getting in down here at the low, right? Putting 640 grand in these 13 strike calls. I think that's pretty ballsy play by them. So I'll definitely keep it on the radar, Mike. And judging by the way this stock looks, it goes on some pretty wild runs every now and again. So I would not be surprised if this dip started getting bought up soon with these metal prices holding higher.
Yeah, so we'll see. The precious metals movement will be very important. And, of course, increased fear around the world historically has led to precious metals increasing. Because, if you have a war breaking out and you have inflation and, if the world is just getting scary, people resort to safety. And a lot of times that is resorted to in the form of gold, silver, and, other metals that have been resorted to for hundreds of years. So yeah, keep a close eye on it going forward.
Yeah, I like it, Mike. And what I really like is it follows those gold prices, obviously, like we're saying. And, if we go over to the chart of gold again, it recently had a pretty big dip. And now we're starting to come up and retest those highs, maybe 185, 186 on GLD. So I will be watching it very, very closely for that. And as we know, the big money, they usually don't throw it in there for nothing, right?
Exactly. You already know. But yeah, for tomorrow, the market is still at a crucial point. We need to see a breakout, and when the breakout does happen, there should be some pretty solid opportunities associated with it. Tom, is there anything else on your mind heading into tomorrow? We have one more day left for the week, so, let's make it count.
Yeah, exactly. Let's make it count, guys. Be careful of these overhead resistances. SPY keeps rejecting off of these in these channels. So if you see a big rejection tomorrow morning, it might show that we're going to keep chopping, but keep watching that high. I'll be honest, in after hours, the SPY's pushing up towards the highs of the week. So I don't know what's going on here, Mike, but I'll take the good movement, and let's hope that the long-term accounts keep pushing the way they have, because, man, watching Disney, Penn, DraftKings, the SPY itself, Apple, Microsoft, I mean, they just keep going, it seems.
You know it. And if you guys want in on the action in the stocked up trading floor, check out that first link in the description, in the comments down below. Our bots crush it, and we have everything you could possibly need. And while we're in the Discord, Tom, let's give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, is Rander, who had a phenomenal trade with some Tesla put options. And he said, play some puts from yesterday's video. Thanks, Mike and Tom. So great job there. It looks like he made around $700, and that was around a 75% return. So amazing job, and keep up the great work. And besides that, guys, let's have an amazing end to the week. Thanks for watching.